You're listening to GWP Live. I'm your host, Jacob Fulmer here, and it is Wednesday, March 11th, 2026 here, and we're tracking severe storms as they continue to move through the state of Missouri here. So again, we've been tracking these through the rest of this evening. This will likely be the last live stream here that we do, as we are starting to kind of wind things down just a little bit here. Things are starting to not necessarily quiet down yet, but these storms are finally starting to move through the area. And so that means that our severe weather threat will be decreasing quite soon here. Let's see if we have an update here on that SPC severe weather outlook. We're expecting an update very soon here. So still haven't quite had that update come in just yet. So, of course, tornado watch still in effect for southeastern Kansas, southwestern Missouri. That goes in effect until 4 a.m. So that is something that we're going to be watching closely here. But we do have some new severe thunderstorm warnings. Like we just had one issued just to the southwest of where I'm at here in Columbia. So let's go ahead and look at that. We'll take those watches off there for just a moment. And so let's see, here is our severe thunderstorm warning. So again, this is just to the west of Columbia along this line. We're looking at the risk of 60-mile-per-hour winds. So again, damage to roofs, siding, and trees is going to be possible across just west of Columbia. So this includes Boonville, Pilot Grove, Otterville, and then Prairie Home and Clifton City. So those are just some of the areas. So this goes for Pettis and Cooper counties in central Missouri here. At 12:53 a.m., severe thunderstorm was located near Otterville or just 10 miles east of Sedalia. This is going to continue to move towards the east at about 60 miles per hour, potentially making it into Columbia within about 30 minutes. The severe thunderstorm warning itself is not for Columbia. It's just to the west of Columbia. That goes in effect until 1:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time here. And so at this point in time, radar indicated, so it is not confirmed. But again, 60-mile-per-hour winds are going to be possible with this line here. Again, we've seen that intensification of these storms around the Lake of the Ozarks area, as well as extending up into Columbia as well. So again, 60-mile-per-hour winds and some penny-sized hail penny-sized hail is going to be possible with those storms as well. So we're also tracking severe thunderstorm warnings further towards the south. We got this one south of Sedalia in effect, or it looks like that just expired. So that is some good news there. So this severe thunderstorm warning has expired. It has moved out of the warned area, but we do have one further to the south of Sedalia along US 65 there. This goes in effect until 1:15 a.m. Central Daylight Time. This goes for We've got Cross Timbers in this. We've got Coal Camp, Truman Lake as well. So again, just not really a whole lot of populated areas. So this is really good news that it's been moving across an area that's not as populated here. We're looking at just a little bit bigger with hail, nickel-size hail, but that is still below severe limits. And then we're going to be dealing with 60-mile-per-hour winds out of that. So we've got three, or I guess two, because that one just expired. So we've got two severe thunderstorm warnings along this line around Lake of the Ozarks, extending to just south of Interstate 70. Anywhere north of Interstate 70, all of these are non-severe thunderstorms at this point in time. But we do have two severe thunderstorm warnings along this line where we could be looking at some smaller hail and some 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that is something that we're going to have to continue to watch. We've got some strong storms that are non-severe moving in across Barton and Vernon County, just to the south of Nevada at this point in time. So just kind of looking a little bit closer at that here. So we've got a couple of those. So this is a special weather statement that's in effect. This goes for winds of up to 50 miles per hour. That goes for Lamar, Liberal, Sheldon, Mendamines, Bernal, Milo, as well as some of those other small villages. That continues for 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This special weather statement goes until 1:30 a.m. So we've got that one. We've also got one in effect for 50-mile-per-hour winds. Again, gusty winds could knock down tree limbs. Unsecure objects could also be blown around as well. So this goes for like Pomme de Terre, Wabalo, Wheatland, Collins, as well as Cedar Springs and Elkton. So those areas are in that special weather statement. Again, this is not a severe thunderstorm warning. This is just a stronger storm that we have, and so that is something that we're going to have to watch. So 50-mile-per-hour winds across this area within that line of thunderstorms. So that's southern Vernon County, northern Barton County, and then extending over into the Wabalo area as well as into Wheatland. So we're dealing with 40 to 50-mile-per-hour winds across that area along US 54 as well as Interstate 49. These storms right here are non-severe. Again, Joplin, you are right in the gap. You're going to be looking at some rain, but we're not expecting any really severe weather. Now, this area across southeastern Kansas and southwestern Missouri, including here in Nevada. That is where we're dealing with some of the heavier thunderstorms. Once this moves through, and it's going to move through pretty quickly, our severe weather threat is going to be over across that region. Now, again, it's very windy across this area. 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts are going to be possible, but we are not concerned about severe weather with these thunderstorms at this point in time. So again, but we do still have 2 ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings along this portion of the line across central Missouri. State of Illinois, we are looking clear right now. We do have a tornado watch that remains in effect until 2 a.m. So we've got tornado watches continuing for northern Indiana and southern Michigan as well. I believe, yeah, that tornado watch just expired. That's kind of what I was thinking. That one expired at 1 a.m. This severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 3 a.m. Our tornado watch across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas, it technically runs until 4 a.m., but I think that it will expire at about 2 a.m. if I had to guess, probably within the next hour. At the very least, the tornado watch across Missouri will probably expire within the next hour or so. Across Arkansas and Oklahoma, it could continue just a little bit longer. And then severe thunderstorm watch still in effect across central Texas for the next hour or two, as we could see some severe weather, but a lot of those thunderstorms are weakening as well. So overall, we are on the weakening trend. As we look at a national perspective, we have 9 current severe alerts. We've got 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got 1 tornado warning across Oklahoma, and then we've got 3 flash flood warnings. In fact, we did just get a new severe, yeah, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued across our area. So let's take a look at that here. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Morgan and Camden County. This goes in effect until 1:45 a.m. for 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. So non-severe hail and severe winds are expected. This goes in effect for the Lake of the Ozarks, Versailles, the village of Four Seasons getting involved in this, as well as Sunrise Beach and a few other smaller villages as well. So 60-mile-per-hour winds are expected with that. And that goes in effect, as we mentioned, for the Lake of the Ozarks region, for Camden and Morgan counties, that goes until 1:45 a.m. So that is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued in the Versailles and Lake of the Ozarks region along US 50, and this is all west of US 54 at this point in time. So we've got 3 severe thunderstorm warnings for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And it does appear at this point in time that the rain and the wind have moved into Columbia. So that was really strange. There was light rain for a few moments, and then that was pretty much it. And then so I guess we got this rain right here, but probably some stronger winds are going to be moving in here very soon here across Columbia. Would not be expected, or would not be surprised, excuse me, if we were to see maybe some 40 or 50-mile-per-hour winds across the Columbia area. But again, once you go north, like Moberly is kind of like the cutoff. Once you go north of Moberly, you've just got rain. But again, Along this line, from Columbia and north, we're dealing with just heavy thunderstorms and then severe thunderstorms south of Interstate 70. Three severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing at this time for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then we also got this tornado warning. I guess we'll take a quick look at that here. Tornado warning just to the southwest of Fort Smith. This goes in effect for Sequoia and LaFleur counties in Oklahoma. This goes until 1:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So, of course, this is not necessarily in our area, but something to watch out for if you are in eastern Oklahoma right now, just west of the Fort Smith. Of course, Fort Smith is a little bit more of a populated area, so something that we need to watch there. So, radar indicated, so we don't have a confirmed tornado at this point in time. So, that is good news. So let's see, we've also got a severe thunderstorm warning. The rest of those storms are below severe limits. So it's just this tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warning. Texas, we've got a flash flood warning still in Dallas. A couple of ongoing flash flood warnings. We've got the warnings that we've been talking about. And then we do have one severe thunderstorm warning across northern Indiana. But the area that was under that highest tornado risk earlier today, which was northern Illinois, that the tornado risk is pretty much gone across that area. So that is certainly good news. So let's look at our current active alerts here. So again, two different tornado watches. We've got the one that continues until 2 a.m. across Illinois, and the one across Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and into Missouri until 4 a.m. And then that severe thunderstorm watch for the next couple of hours across Texas. So those are different areas that are under those different watches. Again, we've got a few of those stronger storms moving in across Barton and Vernon County, just to the south of Nevada, where we do still have that tornado watch until 4 o'clock. And then north of Humansville, around Collins and Wabalo, 50-mile-per-hour winds with some small hail, and then some stronger storms with severe thunderstorm warnings extending from just west of Lake of the Ozarks, west of Columbia, starting to move into Columbia, and then all of that is also south of Interstate 70. So that's where we're at this point in time. So currently, we still have not gotten the update from the Storm Prediction Center. So that was scheduled to come out at 1 o'clock our time, but it has currently not come out. So we'll see if we get anything on that. And then, of course, we do have an area highlighted for later today for your Wednesday, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama. That risk is going to be gone here across the state of Missouri. So the severe weather threat is just for about another hour, and then it's going to be out of here. And we really don't have a whole lot of severe weather as far as thunderstorms for quite some time in the forecast, at least not in the immediate forecast. So we'll get a little bit of a break after this round of severe weather moves through. All right, so we got a couple of new warnings. This one just to the northeast of Fort Smith. So we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. This goes for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So that's the good news. Is every single severe thunderstorm warning that I've seen recently has either been for 60-mile-per-hour winds or quarter-size hail, which means that we're barely on the threshold of severe thunderstorms. That's really good news. So, also, the storms are now moving into Columbia. Just a brief update. Looks like we do have some light rain, and the wind has picked up just a little bit, but nothing in comparison to what we're seeing across the Lake of the Ozarks region. So the storms really weaken once they make it up to Columbia, and so that is certainly some good news. So, yeah, so again, at this point in time, Nevada, you appear to be good. I don't anticipate any severe weather from this point forward. I mean, to your southeast, like southeastern Vernon County, eastern Barton County, we still need to watch that. Joplin, you look to be in the clear at this point in time. So it's really going to be Vernon and Barton County where we've got some of those stronger storms. Stockton Lake, we still need to watch the Stockton Lake area along Missouri State Highway 13 as well as 65. So those areas are still going to be at risk, as well as Lake of the Ozarks over to Jefferson City. So those are the areas that are currently still at risk for severe thunderstorms over the next hour or so. But overall, we've seen a general weakening trend with these thunderstorms. So that is, of course, good news. Of course, we've seen some training of thunderstorms across the Kansas City area, so that left us with some flooding. But because these thunderstorms are now starting to dive further towards the southeast a lot quicker than they were before, that risk for flooding is going to be a lot lower. And so that is certainly good news at this point in time. So let's see, I am waiting for these thunderstorms to move through Columbia, mainly because I'm curious as whether or not we'll see some wind. I would think that because we're still within that same line, I would think we would at least have some non-severe winds. I'm assuming that we'll probably have 30, 40, maybe 50-mile-per-hour winds. Of course, there are no alerts at this point in time for Columbia, but I would still not be surprised if we had some strong winds on the leading edge of those storms here. So that's what we're waiting to see. And then we're also waiting to see across this area, will these thunderstorms re-strengthen across the Stockton Lake area? At this point in time, again, around the Milford, Jericho Springs, Montevallo, and then the Lamar, these will continue to move towards Dadeville, again, the Stockton Lake and Stockton area, Greenville, Lockwood, and Golden City. And so those areas could certainly get in on some heavy rainfall over the next several hours here. But again, no severe warnings at this time for those areas. And so that is good news. Flash flood warnings still ongoing. Let's see how long these go for. I feel like those should have expired unless they got extended. Yeah, so that one's been extended until 3 a.m. for the Ottawa, Kansas area. So this is south of Lawrence along Interstate 35. So flash flood warning until 3 a.m. And then for the Overland Park and Olathe area, just to the south of Kansas City, flash flood warning has been extended until 2:30 a.m. So 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. The 3 a.m. for the one to the southwest, and then the one to the northeast goes in effect until 3 a.m. as we mentioned. So we've got two flash flood warnings, and then Dallas is also, you're under a flash flood warning. That, let's see, that is going to be expiring at 3 a.m. That includes Collin, Dallas, Denton, and Tarrant counties. At this point in time, we don't have any reports of flooding, but we do have, of course, the radar indicated threat of, we do have the radar indicated threat for that flooding. So that's something we're going to be watching. So, and the rain has picked up quite a bit here in Columbia. Yeah, we're getting some pretty heavy rain at this point in time across the Columbia area. But the good news is that the leading edge has moved through and we're not seeing any wind. So I think we're in the clear in downtown Columbia. Downtown Columbia appears to be in the clear at this point in time. The winds are pretty much calm. They picked up a little bit, like maybe 10 miles per hour, but I mean, obviously nothing that's going to cause any damage. So that is good news. It's mainly going to be for the areas just to our south that we have to watch for some of those stronger winds here. So Lake of the Ozarks going to be next in line for some of those stronger winds. Of course, we mentioned before there was so we did have a significant weather or special weather statement for Wheatland, Wabalo, and Flemington. So we did have some 50-mile-per-hour winds. That has now moved out of the area, so that has now expired. We do still have a special weather statement And let's pull it back up here. This one right here, this special weather statement, that remains in effect until 1:30 a.m. for 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But again, this is below severe limits at this point in time. So 3 severe thunderstorm warnings and 1 special weather statement that is in effect until 1:30 across Vernon and Barton counties. But again, all of that has moved out of Nevada and Fort Scott. We are still dealing with some rain, of course, but the wind threat has moved out of the area. So it looks like we just had a few more severe thunderstorm warnings that just expired. So that's good news. So we do still have 1 severe thunderstorm warning just to the west of Jefferson City, and but the other ones have expired. This one goes until 1:45. 60-mile-per-hour winds and also some small hail is going to be possible. So yeah, so Lake of the Ozarks and Jefferson City, you are next in line for some 60-mile-per-hour winds. Ooh, big flash of lightning here in Columbia. So 60-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail will continue across Lake of the Ozarks, moving into Jefferson City at about 1:45 a.m. And the rain is going to continue for the next several hours. But the key is that the severe threat is going to move out of the area. And then again, some stronger storms continuing to move through here across the Stockton Lake area. 40 to 50-mile-per-hour winds with some small hail is going to be possible. So we're pretty much in the clear. I don't want to necessarily say that we are in the clear, but we're about as close to being in the clear as we can be at this point. So that is good news. Looking at, so again, we've got severe thunderstorm watch till 3, tornado watch until 4 across Kansas and Missouri. When I say it says tornado watch until 4, that pretty much means until 2 a.m., really. And then again, we do have some ongoing tornadic warnings across Arkansas and Oklahoma. So that's really the area to watch. And then we do still have that tornado watch across Illinois, although every single alert has expired across Illinois. So that is some good news there. Let's see if we've had an update from the Storm Prediction Center. Guess not. Yeah, that is a little bit strange. Let's see here. This is their website, by the way. Of course, you can always check this out. It's available to anyone in the public here. That is spc.noaa.gov/products/outlook/. So this is where they update all of their severe weather outlooks. So yes, this is the latest that we have. Although again, that tornado risk has definitely gone down quite a bit from the last update. So just kind of interesting that we haven't. So let's just briefly look at these 2 tornado warnings. Mainly, I want to see if they're on the ground, if we've had any reports. Radar indicated. So at 109, still radar indicated, but still, of course, if you're under this tornado warning, make sure that you take shelter because there is always the possibility that it is on the ground. So again, this continues until 1:30 a.m. So seek shelter. Fort Smith, you're going to get in on the thunderstorms in about 20 or 30 minutes, so make sure that you're ready for that. And then we have another tornado warning newly issued across southwestern Arkansas. This goes in effect until 2 a.m. This is also a radar indicated threat. So 2 tornado warnings. There's the possibility that these are on the ground, but no confirmation at this point in time. So, overview: 1 severe thunderstorm warning in Indiana, 2 flash flood warnings in the Kansas City metro area, 1 severe warning across just to the southwest of Lake of the Ozarks. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in Oklahoma and the Arkansas area, a couple of tornado warnings, and then a flash flood warning across Texas. Tornado watch remains in effect until 4 a.m. across the area. So that is something that we're going to have to continue to watch here, of course. So, and I do have some good news here. Well, this is actually kind of good news and bad news. It appears that the storms are definitely weakening at this point in time, and the reason why is because the strongest of winds are actually ahead of the storm itself. Now, the reason that's good is because, again, that means it's weakening. The bad thing is that people normally assume that the strongest winds are that they line up with the storm itself and don't necessarily consider that sometimes the strongest of the winds are actually ahead of the storm itself, what we call a gust front. And so a gust front is good because it shows the storms are weakening, but again, it's bad because it might mean that people are not necessarily as aware of the storm. But again, we do have a new special weather statement for the Lebanon area that's just been issued. Hasn't made it up here yet on the alert. And this goes for 50-mile-per-hour winds. So I would say at this point in time, I'm pretty confident that our severe weather threat is over. So again, still going to have some strong gusty winds, heavy thunderstorms through the rest of tonight. But overall, the severe weather threat is pretty much over with. And so it is for that reason we're going to go ahead and we're going to end the live stream.